Well, good morning. Good morning. Good morning. It is 8 minutes past the hour on this 27th day of March. Turn up Thursday, turn down for what? Listen, before I even bring in the rest of the crew, yesterday's show, man, I enjoyed just watching the show yesterday. It had some good vibes and good energy. But today, guess what? Papa's back. So, and somebody said, man, when you away, they take it a whole, hey, they can take it where they want to. Because once again, we do this thing called hashtag truth be told for this reason. We're not here to tell you how to think or what to think, how to feel or what to feel. But we do tell you, you need to begin to start thinking, and there's nothing wrong with feeling the way you feel. You might need to evaluate the way you feel because under further review, it might not be the right way, but that's for you to do, not for us to do for you. We're just here to bring it up and let you marinate on it, that part. Today, we're going to have some interesting conversation. Of course, we're going to be talking about what's going on in the news. I got to get into these Jasmine Crockett comments. because somebody called me yesterday and tried to go off on me. And it's kind of funny because, as you know, yesterday I was getting out of my cast. I too am right now in a handicapped state, not fully physically able to do what I want to. Somebody called me Evil Knievel yesterday. I was on my little scooter. They said, "Here come Evil Knievel." I didn't take it personal, but it's funny to me how we have double standards. Our president, who is now sitting in the White House, has mocked and talked about people with handicaps, and nobody said nothing. Jasmine Crockett called somebody Hot Wheels, and now they want to censor her. Come on now, this is a double standard. This is a double standard. We're going to get into that conversation. Communication. I am safe from not getting any classified or top secret communication on my phone today. We're going to talk about that and so much more. And have we really paid attention to the prices that are going on and how living is going on? And are we really understanding that the theme for this week is real? You got to be better or be bitter, and you got to pay attention. Speaking of which, I've got to bring her in. You know her. She's the CEO of Pimpin' Positivity. She is the one who says, okay, and on purpose, you better do it and be great in their faces. My good girl, my good friend, Alethea Crimmins is in the building. Good morning, Alethea. How are you doing?
Good morning, good morning, good morning. How is everybody? Listen, I got to wake up. I was able to get up this morning. I got up looking fabulous, being fabulous, and I hope that everybody has done the same, because if you are here, then you have something to be grateful for. If you are here, then that means that God chose you to live another day. So for that, you should feel so blessed.
That part. That part. We are blessed to have your beautiful smile and your beautiful face on the screen. Let me bring him in. It's Uwa, Uwa, Uwa Diddy. Tell me about that boy from New York City. You know him from 107.5 WBLS and the own lines and the open lines, on Facebook Live and on all their platforms and all their streaming. He is also the executive producer of Keeping It Real with Reverend Al Sharpton. It is my brother from another mother. Brother Fatim is in the building. I don't know why he got the lights off. I don't know, but good morning. Good morning, brother Fatim. You know he gonna be super extra on this Turn Up Thursday. Turn down for what? So turn it up.
Alethea, good morning, my sister.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I hear the voice.
I ain't worried about Papa Bear all back and Jasmine Crockett. I ain't worried. Hell, we talk about politics and things that get our temperature. We want to raise our temperature like we raised the temperature through the roof yesterday. That's what I'm talking about. We talked about love language. And that was, I was on the phone this morning at 7:00 being questioned about yesterday's show. Sometime, and I said this before, you got to slow it down. We get so caught up in the hustle and bustle, we forget about living. We forget about breathing. We forget about love. We forget about sensuality. Sex is all around us.
Brother, you're a little dark. Turn on some lights, please.
Don't worry about me. See, that's why it worked. Because it worked, Alethea, right? It just worked. And what happens is that sometimes that's not dark. You can see me. You can see me, bro. You just don't like this Dallas shirt. That's the problem.
Dallas. Represent your people. I hold it. Once again, see.
Oh, wait a minute. I got my massage off today, too.
Hold it. This is a good place to be. 13 minutes after the hour. Brother Fatim said something that, in last year's episode, you probably was quite right. I would have had some problems with the Dallas shirt. Fatim, you can be whoever you choose to be.
Good. So let me get back to let me finish my love language. So since Alethea asked me yesterday, this is apple dice. And this one is lavender vanilla. Since you asked me, was I a handyman yesterday? Yes. This is what I tend to put on, when, you know what I'm saying? But anyway,
I like,
we
I
get
like,
back.
I like.
You like that, right? That's what about. But on the
Yes.
serious side, yesterday's show was really energetic. It was fun.
Joe is just
I ain't
shaking
worried
his head
about
like,
Papa Bear. He's Papa Smurf. That's why we wait for his ass to go to bed or go away. That's when we come out and play. But put the lights on. I'll blow out my. I mean, I don't have to blow out the candle because you back in the day you just put the lid on it and the oxygen will go out and go off. So you have to blow the candles out. But I just want to say, you always got to be ready. Like Joe said, be ready. You ain't got to get ready.
Right? Okay.
You're already ready. There you go.
Okay.
Stay ready.
So stay ready.
You asked me, was I handy? And
you never know. Stay ready.
You damn right, baby. I'll put these old boring lights on here. There you go. There you go. Damn.
Well,
there we go.
Let me do this. She on the road. Let me bring her in. She is the mental conscious of the show.
She probably back
she
there
is the life strategist, the art therapist, the speaker, and the author herself. Sister Jax, how you doing out there in them streets of Brick City, headed to Mass to pick up the little cub? What's going on?
That's right. That's right. Joe, they was acting up yesterday, Joe.
They supposed to. I ain't got no problem with that.
Especially that way. Where you at? Over there. Okay.
You know, I ain't got no problem with that. Hey,
I
know who he is.
Say, put your back into it, baby.
Wait, I literally had to walk out of a restaurant yesterday because Jax had me screaming.
Yes, my sister. That was. We had a good time. We had a good time.
We had a great time yesterday.
I got your package, sis. I'm mailing it off like as we speak, right before I hit the road.
Oh, and yours is gonna be mailed off either today or tomorrow because I got like a lot of them to get out. So yes.
And you know what? That's a beautiful thing. That's what it's about. Like having a business and having your brothers and sisters support you and you support them. Not always looking for a hookup, right? Because our people, we always want a hookup.
Ooh.
Ain't nothing wrong with a damn hookup.
So let us talk about this because Alethea, I got to place an order with you. I placed an order with Jax.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to have to place an order with you. I'm going to go to your website and order a couple of shirts. Listen, family, that's what it's about. It's about promoting each other. And guess what? I hang around winners, not to compete with winners, but to compliment winners and to also promote winners that they can continue even to win the more. We need to win even the more. And that's where a lot of this conversation does need to come in because it's in the news, it's in public eye, and it's in public conversation where we understand we've got to back each other up where we can win. See, we can't sit here and when folks do what they've been doing to win and we begin to do it and folks begin to criticize us because we did something that they did to win. All of a sudden, when we try to do it, I always say, and my father used to say this in his infinite wisdom, you can't do what the white folks do. Ooh. And guess what? Back when he was growing up in the 30s, the 40s, the 50s, and the 60s, he was right. It'd get you hung, it'd get you killed, it'd get the Klan burning the cross in your yard. We ain't our ancestors.
That's right.
We
ain't
our
ancestors. You know what, Joe? Go ahead. I'm sorry. And so this
was. Oh, go ahead. But this was just off subject. But Fatine said hook up. So I
I gotta hear every word you gotta say, baby. Go ahead.
So I see how you rock like every day. So what I'm gonna do since we talking about hookup, I'm gonna make something special just for you. I'm gonna make something special.
I'm looking forward to it.
Look what people know that
voice. Listen. Let me go ahead. Let me go ahead. Next time y'all see me, I might be in my official capacity in uniform because unbeknownst to some folk who are on this podcast right now, there might be some boiling pots in South Carolina, New Jersey, New York, and some other places around here. Because I'm just saying, it might be some boiling pots. Oh man,
everything is.
That's what the person is saying. But I understand that some folks might be like this somewhere.
The person in the chat, stop. But I want to say this real quick because I don't want to miss this moment. Because I'm glad you said that, Alethea, just to get back to something and not to take away, but we were in the moment yesterday. But it seemed like you felt something yesterday. It seemed like it's like something was touched with you yesterday. You are a motivational speaker, but seemed like, and it's interesting when you talked about when I leaned in and you said about how a lot of men are not observant and that I observe. What was touched yesterday with you? Because there was a difference. I never saw you laugh so hard that you fell off the camera. Not fell, but you went off the camera. But why were you so touched? No. I mean, because why? I mean, I don't want to answer the question, but why were you so into it yesterday?
She coming back. She coming back.
Because
oh wow! Look at your cheeks, girl.
Say something about me being touched. Okay.
I'm sorry. Let me move this one. Let me get this oil out the way here. This massage. Yeah. Okay.
No, because for not saying that y'all don't see me, but I've felt seen. Yes, like I felt like you saw me.
I did.
Like you and
I noticed. I took notice. Yes.
And that was very refreshing because most times that's all that women want is for you to see them for who they are. And like I didn't have to be in anything other than me, and you saw me. So it kind of brought a wall down, and I was just like, oh, okay, hey.
I'll leave that there about things coming down. I'll leave that one right there. Okay?
I'm out of here. I'll be back, y'all. Peace. I'll see y'all.
We'll holler at you later, sis. So family, welcome. 22 minutes past the hour. Welcome to hashtag Truth Be Told on this Turn Up Thursday, Turn Down for What?
You better drink that water. You
Work It Out Wednesday. and yesterday, it got worked out.
We're going to block out Joe. We're going to have our own one-on-one.
Yeah, y'all can do that. Tomorrow is Freedom.
Go ahead, Joe.
Tomorrow is Freedom and Fun Friday. Hold on. Let me finish what I'm saying. I want to go ahead today and let y'all know tomorrow will be it. We came back for 1 week, and through the grace of God and the Holy Spirit, we extended it to another week. We came in talking about have you lost your mind? I think within that week, we found our conscience. This week, it's be bitter or be better. Everybody's smiling and happy. I'm happy too. I came out my cash yesterday, and I'm definitely on the road of being better. I'm going through intense rehabilitation and therapy to be back on my feet. I got to learn how to walk again. I can share something with y'all, so we can get there now, and I can share it with y'all now because I couldn't share it then for a lot of reasons, and I made a commitment to my better half and to God. There's some things you got to wait till God does it. And you can't talk about it when you're going through it. Family, I was very close to being minus a leg. And a lot of folks didn't know that. You got to take care of yourself. And even in taking care of yourself, you have to remember this. When things happen, no matter how healthy you are, how good you are, think about Deion Sanders. Deion winded up losing some toes and almost lost his life because of blood clots and situations and things happen when you injure yourself and you go through surgery to repair yourself. So I'm thankful. I'm on the road to recovery. I will walk again. I will be back on my feet again, and God is good all the time, and all the time God is good. So I just want to tell y'all on this Turn Up Thursday, and I was so happy yesterday because I was literally in the whole show the whole time in the hospital getting my cast taken off, talking to the doctor, but I had my headphones on listening to the show. I just love seeing the freedom and the release and the enjoyment that this platform gives, not only to the people who participate on it, but for those who were in the chat, because it was a fun and a flowing show. And that's what we're here to do. We're not, like I said, we're not here to be everybody else. I'm not Shay Shay. I'm not whoever. At the end of the day, Brother Fatim and myself, I can't speak for Sister Alethea. We started this a long time ago, and to this day, we really ain't made a lot of money. Ain't made no money.
We haven't made
and we don't do it for money. We feel like we need to be compensated and paid, but guess what? We're not out here begging. We're not out here begging for a penny or a dime. We don't go on here. We don't even ask y'all for stars. We don't, support us with, we don't do that. We do what we do. I take care of God's people. God made a covenant with me and said, you say what needs to be said to my people, I'll take care of you. And God has not failed me yet. So with that being said, let's get into this. And
let me just say this.
I'm going to throw it to you and let's go.
Yeah. So one of the things I was going to say, and just to close that book, and we talked about this before, is that we don't do it for money, but at the end of the day, we do a service out here and it becomes a job. And I think that I always say that you got to become a business person. You cannot, we look at music and forget the business part. We look at the show and we forget the business part. And that's one thing. We was always a damn compassionate people. And it's not that we are trying to pimp the community. It's just that you got to put yourself in the position, because if we're going to teach the young, if we're going to teach people and give advice, that we have to give our own self that advice. But I just wanted to close that door. To go back on yesterday's show started off on Serious Conversation. See, what yesterday, me and Joe, you got to realize, me and Joe do this differently. Joe's a morning guy. I'm not a morning man. I never did morning radio like that. I'm a talk show dude. And when I talk show, it's different. So I move the show differently than Joe will move his show. And one thing that I respect, that this is Joe's platform, I'm glad I don't have the responsibility on this show like I have the responsibility on the other shows. So, but I noticed sometimes that we have a lot of voices. You got to realize it started with 4, wind up as a triangular situation with me, Joe, and Sister Jax. Then when we came back, Joe added other voices. And sometimes we don't get a chance to hear everybody's voice, or people have to tone it back because more people are speaking. Yesterday, I realized that we were down 3 people. And one of the things which I said to you, Sister Alethea, when we started talking, because I started the show on the word power. What Black people, and where do we really have power? So we had a serious conversation. And what I did is I wanted to move it. I wanted my sisters to talk. I wanted Alethea to talk a little bit more, because I've been noticing since we've been back, she doesn't get as much talk time as some of us. Some of us, like me and Joe, we'll jump in. So yesterday I pulled back. I let the sisters talk. I also got the folks in the chat in when I came up with the message music. I wanted them to do that. So I always say, I want to read the chat, but I also noticed that yesterday's show, we got a lot more participation. So I'm trying to get involved everybody, because this is Joe's baby, but it's us that are doing it. But I respect the platform and I respect Joe of what he does. But I look at everything we talked about, and we just went somewhere that we never knew we were going. I forgot Joe was getting his cast removed. I did not plan yesterday's show. That comes with the energy.
Hold it. Let everybody know. We
don't plan these shows. We don't. We might plan a guest.
So somebody needs to know the magic of everything we do here. So hold on. I saw some people. I saw Brother Marcus say Brother Fatim can take the wheel. I've been telling Brother Fatim to take the wheel, but we have to be real about some things, and some things that need to be out here. Like Brother Fatim said, Brother Fatim, I do this out of pleasure. This is not my occupation or my job anymore. I have been in media since 1985. I have did media, multimedia, radio, and TV since 1985. Since I started working for Denise LaSalle and James Superwolf in Jackson, Tennessee at Kicks 96. Back in 1985, when I was a senior in high school, I actually started in 84 as a junior. And I had a radio show back when I was in high school where I was the #1 rated radio show in West Tennessee. That's why Bobby OJ and people like Clarence Thomas at WDIA and K97 recognized me and knew me and brought me into the Memphis scene. I ain't new to this. However, this has always been my pleasure. It's never been my job. I have a job. I'm a law enforcement officer. So this is a hobby to me. This is a hobby and fun time for me. Every time I turn on the mic and turn on the camera, it's just me having fun. It's my release. It is a job for Brother Fatim. He gets paid coins. I used to get paid coins. I was a program director. People know I've done Essence. People know I get paid for those type things, but it's not my occupation no more. This is my pleasure. Hold it. Let me do like a brother that's done passed away and went on. This is my pleasure. So, you know, but as we continue to move on, and I always say this, if we could, and me and Brother Fatim done talked about it, if we could find an executive producer and somebody who could sell advertising, we would do this every day. But it's from the aspect of you got to know the business side of things. And people have to understand we could advertise, we could be promoting people right now. Essence just paid me money to promote Essence. I'm promoting them on my website and on other platforms. Though I may not be at the Essence Music Festival this year because it is my grandson's first birthday. And I want to be there for my grandson. There are things that are bigger than money and being in the public eye and on the camera and all that. Brother Fatim talking.
Just running his mouth. I'm going back to I'm going back to soothe my soul right now.
So it's 31 minutes after. And what I want to tell folks is
going back to soothe my soul.
I talked to Brother Fatim and we decided to come back for a week. That week got turned into 2 weeks. That 2 weeks, and I asked Sister Alethea to be a part of this. I asked Brother Chris Morant to be a part of this. I asked Sister Jackson to be a part of this. I asked Sean P. Everybody said, no problem, Joe, let's go. And I'll be popping up from time to time and probably saying, hey, what's going on? But after Friday, just like Brother Fatim says, ain't nothing going on but the rent. Now, I'm blessed. I got injured on the job. My paycheck ain't stopped. I'm retired from the military. My money ain't stopped. And that's the thing about it. This lets me know how people really feel about you. Because had this been my sole means of income, I see the support I get from the community financially when it comes down to hashtag truth be told. From the community I live in. I see the support I get, though, outside of my community. So just understand this. Sometimes the money will come from places you don't expect. I get support from Southern University, the Jaguar Nation, from SWAC, from video games that I do. There's a lot of stuff I do I get support from. I get very little support in this place I live and call home. And I ain't got a problem with that because I understand folk want you to do good. They just don't want you to do better than them. And some folks, they talk a good game, but when it comes down to cutting the check, they don't CTC. They won't cut the check. They'll talk a good game, but when you say, hey, will you advertise with me? Or what's your prices? When you give them the prices, you too high. So guess what? God will send folks to bless you in the midst of whatever you need to be blessed. But guess what? I do this for pleasure. I pay for this myself, and I'm thankful that I'm at a place of wealth that I can do that. And I speak it just the way I said it, of wealth. I am not a poor brother. I am not a poor struggling. I need your money, brother. I need some help. Somebody said, no, I'm not. God has blessed me. I am wealthy and soon I will be healthy again and I will be back to doing what I always do. So, you know, all I'm saying is I thank God for this week, these 2 weeks, and I thank God for all these people, Brother Fatim, Sister Alethea, Sister Jax, Brother Sean P, Brother Chris. I thank them for everybody who's been on here. Brother A-Time, me and Brother A-Time just are working on some projects. See, God will send you a way to make money. I promise you that. Just believe that. So let me get off my soapbox. Let's get back to it. 33 minutes past the hour. Turn up Thursday, turn down for what? The phone line's open. 225-250-8770. You want to get in on the conversation, give us a call. Brother Fatim, Sister Alethea, the mics are y'all. Now, look, y'all can turn this into the love boat. I don't care. I'll be Isaac. What drink am I serving today? What drink am I serving today?
Well, I'm gonna let we've been talking, and so I want to, and yesterday I said that I wanted to throw to the sisters when we didn't really get a chance to throw to the sisters. So since Alethea is here, Alethea, is there something that you would like to raise? Any particular topic, whatever you want to bring up? I think you got the mic, my sister.
I can't really focus because you have this mood setting energy going on, and I'm just like, what? This, and you took the like oil and rubbed it on your hands.
Yeah,
like
it smelled good too. That pineapple and apple together. Ooh, that smells good.
Oh goodness. Oh.
Hey, I'm willing to produce the Fatim and Alethea show. You know, all that y'all.
You may have to do that, baby. I told you I want to do an after dark show anyway.
Y'all put it in the chat. Is there something y'all want to see? Let us know.
Or better yet, email me. If y'all got some show suggestions, email me. Here's the email. Email right there. Email me. Say, look, Joe, I know you just doing it, but we would like to see this because you never know. I can get people. I don't have to be on here. Yesterday I showed you I can produce. I don't have a problem being in the background. I'm at the point of my life. I'm just having fun and I'm enjoying myself. And I want folks to get their message out. I want folks to have fun. I want folks to bless other folks because we've got to be able to talk to one another. This Jasmine Crockett situation is a prime example. When I see
Hold it, Joe. Hold it. We said we were going to give it to Alethea. Give it to Alethea, baby.
Well, basically, what I was thinking has something to do with that. Like, are we creating a bullying culture? Are we creating that culture now? Like, are we creating a culture where I can do it, but you can't? Are we creating a culture where some people are safe and other people are not? Like, to the fact that Boston had to declare itself a safe state for people like me to go to, for transgender people to go to, and now they are creating more safe states. What is that saying? What does that mean? Like, why does this even have to be a thing? To where now we have to create safe states, and if you're not safe in the state that you're in, you have to up and move and go somewhere else just so you can live a normal and safe life. What does that mean for our kids? So are we creating a culture of bullying? Will that be the norm? Are we saying that bullying is now okay?
Well, we're not creating the state of bullying. We've always been bullied. It's always been those that are in, when I use the word power, or from the perspective of quote unquote what people look at as being normal, someone always gets picked on. It's the weak kid. It's the kid that don't have the clothes. It's the kid that don't do this the way everybody else does. And then when you go from a childish behavior and a childish setting into adulthood, and when you become an adult, and then you see the highest office in the land, the person that holds the highest office in this land on the last presidency that he was the president, and he's marking people with handicaps and bullying, that becomes a culture. That's number one. Then number two, we always had this whole thing of race in this country. And the problem is that we run from it. We bring it up. White folks that benefit from that, or other folks that benefit from it, or what other ism that you benefit, don't want to talk about that. And see, that's the problem, is that we've never really dealt with the bullying aspect. For instance, Sister Alethea, you said you've been in the school system. They talk about zero tolerance in schools. I don't believe in that. And the reason why I don't believe in the zero tolerance is because you can have somebody bullying you. You have a right to defend yourself. You have a right to stand up for yourself. And if you decide to stand up for yourself or defend yourself, then all of a sudden you get in trouble for somebody else bullying you. So what happens is, what message are you sending? I can't stand up for myself, but they allow the bully. And if I say something, then I get in trouble. But you keep slapping the bully on the wrist. So I don't know if we're creating it. I think people are now just being more bold with it. Now, I think we are angry society. I think we're not the society that the people think. Look at the last election. Look at the man that we put in office. And I don't think that we are what we say we are. And I think we really need to look ourselves in the mirror to see that honestly and really deal with what is really out here and what we're dealing with at this point. Like AOC said, we need a new guard of people to come in because we can't pussyfoot around now, not in 2025. There's no use of pussyfooting around and no worrying about who toes we stepping on because they're snatching our rights away.
Yeah, I mean, the last open lines online you had a wonderful attorney that had returned, and you spoke about a comment I put out there where I said, you know, we have to formulate our own group of folks who are concerned about the greater good of us. See, we've got to, we fall for the okie doke, and we fall for the okie doke for so many reasons. Because some of us can't go through a dry season of losing. We can't go through not getting paid. We can't go through not having a job. So then we have to make concessions because at the end of the day, each one of us have a responsibility, and a person who is, some of us have children we are to be accountable to. We have a spouse. We have responsibilities that we are accountable to. Because some of us cannot afford not to literally fight the struggle of not being paid. And that paycheck is like a ball and chain sometimes when it comes down to censoring our own mouths. There's some things we want to say, but we can't say it because we know we'll lose our job. Let's just be real about it. And we got to be real with ourselves on some of that. Some of us are in position. There are things that I have said that I can't walk in certain doors now. People who know me, there was once upon a time, let's go back to why we started hashtag Truth Be Told in the beginning. I used to be the chief of minority affairs in Lafayette Parish. I was appointed by the mayor president at that time, Josh Guillory, to do a job. It was a very good paying job. When the new mayor president came in, I was dismissed with only 3 days notice. I went from making almost $100,000 a year to making zero with 3 days notice. And when you are put in those type situations, and guess what? White folks know, and people in power know, that the power of the purse and the pocketbook can make folks say things and make folks say certain things, not say certain things, because some folks will not jeopardize their paycheck. They will play like they're Superman when they're in your face. Oh, I'm all about the hood and in the street, but behind closed doors with those same folk, guess what they're doing? Yes, sir. Yeah. Or they're not telling the whole truth. Because I've been behind closed doors with Black politicians, Black power makers, Black people with money. And I promise you, I can look them all in the eye and say, the way you were talking on that street corner in the hood is not how you were talking when you were down in City Hall. And that's the point. That's the truth.
You do have to censor yourself a lot, because there are things that I want to tell Brother Fatin right now, but I can't tell him because y'all gonna be all in our business. So I can't. So
Go ahead and talk, girl.
No,
Alethea, don't say shit on this platform. Excuse me. I'm not supposed to be using vulgarity. I've been working on stuff, but Lord forgive me for that one. Don't
worry about him, baby. Go ahead and talk. Say what's on your mind. Speak your mind. This is a show within a show. This is a show within a show. Speak your mind. Speak your mind.
But you do have to censor yourself, because people will take that, misconstrue what you say, because they can't wait for you to say something so they can take it and twist it and run with it. And then, oh, well, she said. Well, she said, no, that's not what I said. I said what I said, but what you heard is not what I said.
Right.
So
People
we
love to run with gossip. They run.
oh, they
Did
do.
you know? Have you heard? Like I said, I can look and tell y'all, and I laugh about this. I had important people when I was the chief of minority affairs who called me, "Can I meet with you? Can we sit down and have a weekly meeting?" Soon as I was no longer the chief of minority affairs, and the last time I checked, my ideas didn't stop because of a position or a title. Let me say that again. The ideas that I brought to the table did not change because of a position or a title. But because I didn't have that position or a title, there were folks who didn't call me no more. They didn't all of a sudden want to have those weekly meetings.
But even in the like realm that I'm in, like I'm very heavy on like social media, because that is part of my job. And I'm sure that other people have seen this too. There are white and non-black creators that can get away with saying some shit that if I say out of my black mouth, I'd be canceled so quick.
Oh, yeah, the cancel culture.
I'd be canceled so quick, but it's okay for white people and other non-black people to say whatever it is that they want to say, whatever it is that I recently saw on Facebook. This little white boy, I don't like talking about people, but this little white boy looked like he come from nothing, went viral, mocking us, talking about cooking like a nigga, cooking like a nigga. If that would have been one of us mocking a white person saying cooking like a cracker, cooking like that wouldn't have went viral. That would have been kept. My whole entire account would have been shut down. This boy went viral. Like on every platform, this boy went any other time. Facebook has canceled one of my good friends, Reagan Parker, just because she cursed or said something. They have blocked her page, but this white boy can come on here and mock us blatantly, and nothing is done.
Well, here's why, Sister Alethea, and let me make you laugh about something. A lot of folks don't know I do a lot of back-end research. There's a lot of AI bots that listen for certain keywords that are block words. We may have said them right here, and I laugh about this because you don't know how many times I've had to, behind the scenes, because I don't tell all the business, that I've had to go in on a live that like we're doing now, and I've had to put in a redaction of saying this is what we were talking about. And then when you get to a human being that your redaction get to, they say, oh, we have AI bots that hear certain words, and those are block words. Though, you know, and a lot of folks don't know the power of how AI is operating in social media. And that's why when you have to pay very close attention now, I just saw a commercial last night with Morgan Freeman, where they did the commercial just to let you know how many of y'all really thought this was Morgan Freeman. It looked just like Morgan Freeman, sounded just like Morgan Freeman. It wasn't even the face nor the voice was Morgan Freeman. It was AI. So a lot of times there are things going on where we just have to understand that there are things operating above what we know. And we're all in this system of trying to give out information. But understand, if you're really truly setting minds free, putting people on a page where they are understanding who they are and whom's they are, ain't nobody really wanting all that, because there are folks who are getting paid for this matrix that is out there, that is built, that is of misinformation, lies. There are people who are really profiting from us being blind to the facts. Let me say it like that, Brother Fatim.
So what happens is, I said it before on this show, got it from my brother James Mtume. We use two rulers to measure the same damn inch. It's a double standard, and we know about there's a double standard. Now, this is where Jasmine Crockett comes in. When we get people like Jasmine Crockett, and thank you, Sister Rhonda, and everybody else in the chat, KC, and everybody else that mentioned the sister that was on Open Line online this Sunday morning. She was a regular panelist during COVID, and that is my sister Pamela Means Esquire. I met her at a Reverend Sharpton's convention in the past. And when I met her and her husband. And I basically, her husband told me, I never forget what he said. He's a pastor. He was like, for you to get my wife out of that room, to get her to the radio, grab her hand and take her down there. I have to take charge with a take charge woman. If y'all saw Pamela Means, or those that in the chat that know Pamela Means, know that she is a no-nonsense Fannie Lou Hamer type sister. I have to say it like that. That's why I gave her the name Queenologist, because that is what she brings to the table. She don't bite her tongue. She backed Mark Morial up on our show. She took other people to task. She called a spade, don't matter who it is. And that's who I like to surround myself with. But to elevate this conversation, that's why when we get people like Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, when we get people like Jasmine Crockett, these type of people that have that warrior type spirit, and when they get up there, they represent what a lot of us are feeling, but don't have the platform to say it or cannot articulate it to say. And that's why those folks become like iconic in our community, and we be like, go get them, sister, go get them, my brother. Because a lot of us, some don't even have the backbone to do that. Some of us are rooting quietly because we burn our head at our job. We burn our head in our community. You understand what I'm saying? So when we get this type of fire amongst people, and it's, how can I say, because I know I turn it on and turn it off. I can do the love thing, but when it come down to me and my people and mine, I want to live for it, but I'll put everything on the line for it, because this is about survival. Y'all got to understand this, but we got to also be strategic in how we go about it. Everybody can't get out there on that platform and just speak and talk. You got to be strategic at what you say, because a lot of people are following you, and a lot of people are being led by your words. And you got to be responsible, but you also got to remember that you also are leading also by a warrior spirit. And we can't, and a lot of times we as Black people, because of our compassion, because we've been through hell and high water, that we understand, and we want to be compassionate and try to understand other people. But when people are trying to kill us, I ain't trying to be nice to my slave master. I ain't trying to be nice. You understand? And that's why we talk about the movie Django, because Django was not trying to be nice. He was trying to be right. And he understood what this was. It was one side or the other. It was no in between. There's no gray area right now. They're doing what they're doing. We need to do what we got to do. And if you're standing in the middle, you are in the way, you're not doing anything, get the hell out of our way. Go ahead, Sister Lethea.
Two things. Before I get to Marcus Allen's comment.
Mm-hmm.
I like when you talk about taking charge. That's a mental note. I'm gonna keep that in mind, because you can take charge. Okay, I'm gonna let you do that. Okay. So next thing, Marcus Allen said.
We can do that.
Marcus Allen said, and they're singing, they not like us, but the whole time they are doing everything we doing. They doing all that we are doing. And are we still okay with this? Is that still okay? Because I don't think it is. Like they don't like us, but then they do everything that we do.
That's right. They do everything like us. So what happens? Bo Derek in the movie 10 comes out with braids. We worried about processing out here. I'm taking you back for a moment. I'm taking you back, Bo Derek, 80s, early 80s. I think it's not late 70s, early 80s. Mm-hmm. So a lot of things that we tend to emulate or imitate, because we did that because some of us looked in the mirror and didn't like what they saw with us, with our kinky hair, thick lips, backside. Some of our sisters, our sisters are, well endowed. And,
brick houses, they say by the Commodores.
There you go, baby, a brick house, baby. And so, but then we were trying to be like them while they're running to be like us. You look at the Kardashians, the Kardashians, if they could tan themselves and become black, they would be black. And yes. You know what? I mean, I don't knock the Kardashians. I don't sit here and knock them, because at least, sister, if that's what she likes, that's what she likes. If she likes black, I get it. But what gets me, and I'm not getting on my sisters here, but what I'm saying, Sister Alethea, is that know your worth. Know your worth. And if you like something because you like it is one thing. But if you like it because you don't like yourself, Brother Fatim got a problem with it. I got a problem with that. You can do what you want, but if you hate yourself, then you hate us. You hate the mother that brought you out because you don't like what you look like. But do you understand the psychologically how we get there? Because the hell we catch because of this, that you want to get away from that because you're tired of always fighting. You just want to live. And sometimes those folks that are light-skinned or that could pass as white did that. I don't want to fault them, because when you got to walk in our shoes, you got to be tough. It's not easy. It's not easy. So I don't throw bones at them and sticks. But what I try to do is I try to uplift them and say, be proud of who you are, because you don't realize your power. Because if you look back in history, they robbed us of our culture, our language. They went into Egypt and stole this and then claim it theirs and took it into Greek and want to call it all theirs. But it was it was us that created that. We first created medicine. We created astronomy. When I say created the understanding and the study of it. But then they take it, change the books, and say they did it. And then you want to quote Plato and all that. I'm not quoting no damn Plato. Where they got that from Egypt? No. But when you don't know who you are and where you come from, then it's easy to be manipulated and honestly to make these people look like they did this and you are down here, and that affects your psyche and it affects your self-esteem. And that's why I don't play with them.
I love when you said that, especially women, especially Black women, we need to know our worth. And it does not matter how much you change on the outside. If your inside is not right, you can have as many surgeries as you want. You can put as much makeup on as you want. You can put your wigs on. You can change your hair. It does not matter if your inside is not right. If you don't feel good about you on the inside, if you do not know your worth on the inside, it doesn't matter what you do on the outside. You will always keep trying to look better. You will always keep trying to fix something that didn't need to be fixed in the first place. Why do you think all these celebs keep having plastic surgery after surgery after surgery? They keep Nene Leakes. When they put a picture of Nene Leakes up, I did not even recognize.
Nope.
I had to look, and I'm like, wait, is that Nene Leakes? She looks perfectly fine before. but she kept going over and over
Little
and
Kim,
over again. And yes, yes, it does. Listen, let me tell y'all something. And this is the uh, analogy I use every single time about why this is. I went to a wedding, and when I went to this wedding, this lady, when I tell you this cake was beautiful, and the whole time, like she kept trying to fix it and make sure it was right and was like pretty. When we cut that cake and bit into that cake was so dry. That cake was I that it
so
but she was so
from the outside,
busy worrying about how the outside looked. She was so busy trying to fix the outside that she forgot to fix the inside, because even though it looked good on the outside, it's the inside that matter. And the only thing that we remembered is how nasty that cake was. Nobody was like, oh my God, yes, that like cake was very pretty, but that cake was so damn nasty.
Right.
That's what people remember about you.
Exactly. And I just want to add this because Sister KC, we've had this conversation before, and I'm glad I had this conversation with her and her daughter, because it's a difference when there's self-hatred and you do something. I'm not talking about, and this is why we have to be specific when we're saying things. We're not talking about people that choose to do something not because they hate themselves, but because they like to do it or they have to do it. Some women have alopecia and they have to wear a wig. We're not talking about that. We're not talking about that once in a while you want to use color contacts to change your eye color, just like Sister Alethea had earrings on yesterday that matched the bottom of her glasses. There's nothing wrong with that, because that is a choice that you choose in a sense, but it's not because you hate yourself. You know who you are. It's a style statement or a statement or something that you have to do. But when you hate yourself, when you don't like who you are, and when you run from being the Black person that you are in a society that we're already put down, and we're fighting for our survival here and fighting for the truth to be told. We're always fighting because they're telling so many lies day in, day out that we're fighting. That's why we stay so caught up in these fights and these struggles. A lot of us don't get a chance to live. And I got that from Sister Shahrazad Ali. She said to me, Brother Fatina, she's put it in one of her books. She said, we as Black people as a whole live like roaches. We are surviving. We are not living. So when we talk about parents, that's why I'm careful how I say it, because I was part of the PTA and I had to come up with ways, because I saw where the parents would come out to some things, but wouldn't come out to other things that I thought were important. But I also look at that when you in survival mode and working 2 jobs, or got to come home, cook, take care of a baby, do homework, you understand? So you got to put your priorities. You can do it. What I mean you can do it is you still can show up for your children. Don't go out there and just have children. There's a responsibility that comes with any and everything. You have a responsibility to go that man at the job. So you got a responsibility to be there for your children. But when we're in a survival mode, it gets harder to just live, because you're behind the 8 ball in the income. You're behind the 8 ball if you're a single parent. So, and so there's a lot of things that are going on within our family. That's why we have to communicate, we have to talk, and we got to support one another.
So let me come in here, and I know I'm gonna bring Jax in too. I see some of the conversation that's going on in the chat, and especially when it comes down to comparisons of Jasmine Crockett, the Honorable Louis Farrakhan. You have to understand this, and Brother Fatim can say this because this is actually his wheelhouse and really my wheelhouse too. It ceases to amaze me if you really knew the story of some of these folks, which all y'all see is the finished product. Y'all don't know how Black folks used to criticize the Honorable Minister Farrakhan, and I mean criticize them hard. Go in about this, that, these, and those, and but now all of a sudden he's at a place where folks would look at him, and I can say that because not only he's one of my inspector generals. You know, I am on a council with him of inspector generals, so I understand the following. We always look at the finished product, but we don't look at what got us to this finished product and the trials and the tribulations ones have to go through. I'm not saying, and let me be very careful how I say this, as Brother Fatim would say. Understand this. I don't have a problem with Jasmine Crockett at all. I have a problem with the double standard. That all of a sudden, when folks say, well, all Jasmine is doing is stirring up, messing, attacking. Well, isn't that all that President Trump did when he was talking about folks? I mean, why is it a double standard? Why can't you revere Trump, but you hate Crockett? That's what I don't, and they're both doing the same thing. Either you revere both of them or you can't stand both of them. You know, you can't like one and hate the other when they're doing the same thing, Sister Jax. Okay. Talk to me, Sister Jax.
You know what? It's just so interesting. I only caught like a little part of what Fatim was saying in terms of, wigs and, stuff like that. But, Alethea and I were laughing yesterday talking about envieth not thine oppressor and take on none of his ways, right? So we sometimes get it so misconstrued and think that what we're doing is the right thing, right? So Alethea and I were speaking yesterday about roaches of the sea, right, sis? And, back in the day, people don't realize that even, the diet that we eat, right, in terms of, say going against the dietary law according to scripture, right? So when you look at, scripture tells us not to eat shrimp, lobster, crab. Now, God said everything on the earth is good, is good, but everything has its purpose, right? So it doesn't mean everything is good for us, to consume in that manner. So back in the day, like many, many years ago, lobster, crab, shrimp, we know that's the bottom feeders in the ocean, and only peasants were given that. Peasants and slaves were given lobster and crab and shrimp. But then how the tables turned is now they want to butter it up and say, oh no, it's a delicacy. It's something good for us. And every time we indulge too much, if you have gout, if you have high blood pressure, one of the first things they'll tell you is to leave the pork alone and leave the shrimp, lobster, crab alone, right? So we just kind of take, and that's part of our problem. We envieth our oppressor without even realizing it. And we take on their ways, but it doesn't serve us well at all. So we just have to start to truly embrace who we are and whose we are, and just like love ourselves, like truly, truly love yourself. Don't just say it, but it's an action. We have to do it. And when you start to do it, that's when the whole narrative can change. And they recognize that we don't love ourselves in a lot of ways. And that's why they're able to do what they do to us. But as soon as we really love ourselves,
divided,
the nonsense won't happen. That's right. That's right. That's right.
Brother Fatim.
Yeah, so Douglas Guidry writes, I mean, I'm debating Eddie Bonnet. So he was basically saying Trump is for America. Trump is for American people. Jasmine Crockett is race baiting. Trump is not for American people. He wouldn't cancel all this DEI, scrub black achievement and black and the things that black folks have done. So that goes out the window. So I said that was bullshit. I said that to you there. Douglas Guidry comes back with a bunch of crap too. It says Jasmine worse than the leftist extremist former Vice President Kamala Harris. That's another damn lie. And see, that's what happens. And what makes me angry is when our own black people do this. And Eddie knows, and I'll say this one time. Me and Eddie's cool. And I'm cool with Guidry. Guidry has done some stand-up things. But when y'all spew the bullshit, I'm going to call your bullshit out. That's what it is. I can't sugarcoat it. That's bullshit. And when people stand up like Jasmine Crockett, this racist society created that. And then when we stand up on this platform, we're not race baiting. We're calling it out for the racism that it is. And then when our brothers and sisters stand up, and then when our own brothers or sisters speak out against those that stand up, I call y'all sellouts. And I call you sellouts because that's dangerous what you're doing. It's dangerous what you're doing. Because right now, what they're doing, I don't see neither one of you brothers coming up in here and saying what Trump is doing, and some of the things I may agree with, but some of the things that he's doing, scrubbing history of black, this, that, and other. Now they're putting the Tuskegee Airmen back. They're putting Jackie Robinson back. That means they were wrong, bro. don't see you coming out and saying that, but you want to criticize those that stand up for us and the liberation of us. Dude, Eddie, you want to go to the Bible, brother? You want to go to the Bible? What did Abraham do? He had to go where? And civilize and clean up the leprosy in the Caucasus Mountain. The Caucasus Mountains that were in Asia, baby. Where does Caucasian come from? Do you really want to go here with me this morning?
That's right. Eat them.
Do you really want to go here with me this morning? Stop the bullshit, man. I can't. I'm sorry to raise up like this. That's why I said yesterday brings me here. But man, that's one thing I'm not going to tolerate, man. You're doing a disservice to us. That's why I say, if you got nothing good to say, oh, you got false, so get out the way, man.
Yeah.
Because we're fighting for our damn survival now, man.
That's right.
And I'm gonna roll over any and everybody that do and spew that crap that you're spewing this morning.
That's right. And you know, Fatim, great points. I love it. And you know what else, Fatim? I don't think it's that they made a mistake. They know exactly what the hell they're doing. They just chin checking us. They're telling us, look, niggas, this is what we can do, and watch us do it. And then they bring it back when they feel like it. So all they doing is chin checking us. So that's why I keep saying everybody needs to go to bookstores. It could be a used bookstore, because guess what happens? And I know this for a fact because I was at one of them in Massachusetts a couple weeks ago. I was asking, where do you get your books from, right? They said that a lot of the wealthy people and people in town and from other states donate the books to the store. So when they donate the books to the store, sometimes they'll give the people back a store credit, or they will just give them, back a couple of dollars. But these books are coming out as, grandma's attic, grandma's bookshelf, grandpa's bookshelf, right? And it has our history. Books from the 17 and 1800s are some of the most truthful books, because after World War II is when a lot of it got watered down. That's when when the white Jesus came about, was around World War II. My great uncle was still alive. He was in World War II, and he's still alive now. So that wasn't that long ago where they gave us the image of the white Jesus. But if you go to Russia and into the catacombs there, and even into the Vatican, you'll see that, Moses, Abraham, they were all black, because those are our people. So we need to start digging into these old ancient texts and keeping them, buying them for $5, $6, whatever it is, and keeping them, because they are doing a digital burning, and they will continue to do that. And eventually they'll start burning down some of these bookstores that have these great books in it, so that we cannot get the information. So we need to do ourselves some due diligence and service and get some books.
And understand, I'm going to go to Alethea. Go ahead, Alethea. Go ahead.
I just need Eddie to provide clarity on when he said Black people need a little oppression. Maybe we will return back to our foundation. What is our foundation? Because we come from a foundation of knowledge. We come from a foundation of wealth. We come from a foundation of strength. So what foundation are you speaking of? Like what do we need to go back to?
So what he's saying is, sometimes it's what is called a wake-up call. And we used to say this back in the day when the Republicans, I remember when Ronald Reagan became president, and one of the things that they said is that Republicans sometimes is a wake-up call to make us get off our duff and go out there and do, where the Democrats give out more handouts. And I've heard this, I watched this, and I see that the Democrats do deal with more social programs out there. But we gotta be careful how we say these things, because you're right, Sister Alethea. I'm glad you called that out, because when you say we need a little oppression, do you know what that is saying? I understand that we can fall asleep and we need a wake-up call, but when you make statements that we need oppression, it's like being on the plantation.
Yes.
The house Negroes saying, you know what?
Yeah.
Them field Negroes need a little whipping. Whip their asses back.
They ain't picking enough cotton. They ain't picking enough cotton.
What you're saying with that kind of statement, you gotta be.
That's a Stephen statement from Django. That's cause you in the big house. You in the big house with Candy Man, with Monsieur Candy, and you can tell Monsieur Candy, because guess what? You not in the field. You in the house with Monsieur Candy, and you can say, guess what, Monsieur Candy? I think that they ain't suffering hard enough, Monsieur Candy. So you might need to let them suffer just a little bit more. And let me tell you, they'll come around. Speaking of which, let us not assume what a person is saying. Let's let the person say it themselves. Brother Eddie, welcome to hashtag Truth Be Told. You got 1 minute. Tell us what you were really trying to say.
My brother, I'm gonna need about 2 minutes on this, my brother. But look, check this out. Good morning, my brothers. Good morning, my sisters. And of course, yeah, Sister Elise, I can definitely bring clarity on that, because you actually answered a lot of it whenever you actually said what we need to return to. So it's definitely, I'm praying that you're not thinking that I'm talking about going to a place of depending on white people or anything, because my whole argument has always been self-sufficient for the Black community. My whole argument has always been making sure that we return back to a foundation of parents in the home and parents engaged with their kids and raising up their kids and not being dependent on compulsory education, dealing with letting know if we feel that the education system has been oppressing our people for so much, yet we fight so hard for it. Now you get someone that comes in that kicks against that education, and we say, why are you kicking against the education system? Oh, we say that our children have not been educated. Whenever we deal with the judicial system, you have someone that kicks against the FBI, and now we're like, why are you kicking against the FBI? Like, we just don't know what we want. So whenever I make that statement on returning back, it's a return back to community. It's a return back to community raising the kids, where whenever you see my kid, I give all my brothers, not just blood brothers, but brothers that I know, that I deal with, permission. When you see my son doing something that they're not supposed to be doing, you make sure you check them and then let me know about it. I'm gonna check them when they get back. That keeps checks and balances in place for our community.
So Brother Eddie,
that's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about pulling totally. Let me close my thought. Pulling totally. If we're talking about this system is so oppressive, then why we fight so hard to integrate ourselves into it?
Okay, so Brother Eddie, let me ask you this, and I can say this. So let me understand this. When we say defund the police, there's a problem. But when we say defund the FBI, it's okay. Explain to me the difference in that. Just explain.
You defunded the police?
Hold up. Because the FBI is the police. So they just the highest level of the police. So let me understand this. When folks said defund the police, everybody was, oh, look at these folks. Because I'm a law enforcement officer. So wait a minute. But if you say defund the FBI, or the FBI is messed up, corrupt, why are y'all saying it's messed up, corrupt? Because it investigated Trump? Had it not investigated Trump, would y'all still be saying that?
Okay. Listen, no, there have been, Brother Joe. You see, maybe you only listen to one side of the argument, but there have been conversations concerning the FBI way before Donald Trump. There's always been talks about the corruption. Even now we're looking at Donald Trump talking about releasing the files for the JFK. Man, and MLK, we got to remember, like, all of those organizations that have exposed, to me, and this is my opinion, and I just want to say this. To me, it seems like if Donald, and I'm not defending, and y'all say revere. I don't revere Donald Trump. I could care less about Donald Trump or anything. But I'll say this: the CIA was one of the organizations that was so bad, so destructive, and those files were released. If we see how the CIA had its part in the assassination of JFK, if we see how rogue the CIA was, that they had its part in the assassination of Dr. Martin Luther King, if we see how bad the CIA was in the destruction of our people, then there has always been those conversations to shake up those departments, those agencies. So It's not just that they investigated Donald Trump that we feel like, oh, now it's a crime. And listen, why defund the police, man? You know how we are so understaffed. You know it, Brother Joe. You can't argue that, because you know that our police, whatever police department is understaffed. They need more officers. So why would you want to cut funding for police?
But here's what I'm asking. Here's why I'm asking this. We say things, and Brother Fatim says it all the time. We say these catchphrases that play into the hands, and let's just call it what it is. We're playing into the hands of powerful white folks, because let's be truthful about this. And I want to be as truthful as I possibly can in this manner. Understand the following. and please, Brother Eddie, you joined the Navy. I joined the Army. The Navy and the Army has did atrocities against black and brown folks on foreign soil. I went to combat in Somalia. I didn't go to combat in Louisiana, in Mississippi, and Tennessee. I went to combat in Africa, in Somalia. So the truth about it is, good people do bad things and bad people do good things. We just have to get to the point of, once again, when defund the police came out, everybody was like, oh, look at these black folks talking about defund the police. But when white folks said defund the FBI was fine. Break down the FBI, break down the, see, if the white man say the same thing we said, all of a sudden it's good. It's good. Let's do that. But hold on.
I disagree with that argument.
You can agree to disagree, Brother Eddie. I just want you to think about it. Thank you for calling.
No. Don't let Eddie go. No. Don't let Eddie go. Eddie, stay there, bro.
Thank you for your service.
Eddie, stay there.
Combat. I have never. Oh no, I'm saying I have never been in combat, so I'm sure, Brother Joe, that you have seen things. My job in the Navy, we did a lot of operations with the Coast Guard doing drug operations around South America. So I've never been in a combat zone before. But at the end of the day, I serve with great people from all.
Thank you for your service, Brother Eddie. Service is service.
Whenever you deal with, we talk about, and like I shared in the comment section, we're in a capitalistic society. Capitalists don't care of what color you are. There's black billionaires, there's white billionaires, there's Asian billionaires. It's about the haves versus the have-nots. And if our people want to be in a power position, then we have to stop being dependent on everybody and stop getting everybody to affirm us and stop getting there. We have all. I hate. You know, one of the things I hate. I hate whenever white liberals feel like they have to defend us. I hate whenever I turn on something and you have these white people trying to defend what we need. Like, we just don't know how to speak for ourselves. Like, we don't know what we want. Like, that's just, we should be tired of that and tired of empowering people to make them feel like they got to help us. Like, that's sickening to me. I can't deal with it.
All right, so Eddie, hold on for a minute. So
I got you.
First of all,
Eddie,
let me just say this to Willie Pickens. You're right. Sometimes they do get under my skin. That's why I said yesterday was so more therapeutic. And I start off with the candle because y'all know I can go from 0 to 2,000 and a dime, there. But I get that. Eddie, you need to stop typing and to call in more because you make more. Your ideas are more in sync. And we can have more of a conversation about what you put out there, because when you type, it doesn't explain everything what you're trying to say. I saw what you said, Wanda White, let him go. But no, Eddie made some good points. He made some good points about the CIA and the FBI. Now, I do understand what Joe's saying about the double standard when we said defund the police, in the sense of the reason why we said defund the police, because the type of money and the type of tactical gear that was going into police departments, they were putting so much money in the kind of army gear that they were giving these police departments that were honestly serving the black community. It was like the black community was under siege. But let's go back to the FBI and CIA, because you're right. You concentrated more on the CIA. The CIA, most likely, they operated domestically, but their main focus was internationally. The FBI was domestically. You understand? But they work hand in hand. But the FBI under J. Edgar Hoover with COINTELPRO, counterintelligence program that basically came out to destroy black folks, black leadership. And then the CIA was out there to destabilize other countries of color. So you're right. CIA and the FBI have been under attack. Look at what the FBI has done to our people here in America. To there. So you're right. There has been a call dealing with the FBI and the CIA. I told you on this program called Like It Is, that was hosted by the late Gil Noble here in New York on ABC Network. Brought on a guy named John Stockwell, who was a former CIA agent. And he talked about how they destabilized countries, what they did, what America did. I brought on Dr. Tyrone Powers, former FBI agent, black brother. I always call him kind of like the spook that sat by the door, because he got inside and worked the program, but he always remained black. So you're right. Before Donald Trump, FBI and the CIA, you are correct, my brother, on that. But we, even if we have different trends of thought, like you may have, Eddie, we have to have the kind of conversation, because when we put it in the chat and it can't be explained, then we assume or we interpret it one way, and you may not mean it that way. So I appreciate you calling in, and I'm glad, Joe, because I told Joe, sometimes 1 minute is just not enough. Sometimes we have to have a conversation, and sometimes we have to have a conversation with somebody that may disagree with us, and that's what make this more fulfilling. So thank you, Brother Eddie.
Thank you, Brother Eddie, for
There's
calling
many
in.
different ways, and I'm just closing out with this. It's many different ways to the common goal that we are trying to acquire and to try to attain. I, Eddie Barnett, no matter what people say, care about the Black community. I'm Black. If I was to die and have to come back into this world, I would want to be a Black person. I don't want to be Asian. I don't want to be white. I don't want to be Hispanic. I could care less about that. I love my Black skin. I have Black children. I have a Black wife. I care about the Black community. But there's going to be different ways that we're going to have to go about it in order to bring about a change. And I promise you, if we continue in the pattern of this is the only way that we're going to have to go about it, then we're never going to be able to get forward to the promised land together. Because I promise you, if we just go one way, and that, listen, I like I said, Fatim, I understand Fatim, the militant type, but Fatim, you're not and I hate to say it, but you're not a talking head. You're not just out there throwing. Some people just know how to bring about that popularity through social media. I'm talking about people that's really looking to get out there, not trying to make a profit on it, and doing it the way that is going to edify our people. So and Sister Lita, I'm hoping that I answered the question before I get off.
All right, thank you, Brother Eddie. We appreciate you. You know, and I got respect for Brother Barnett, but at the end of the day, what I want folks to understand is see, and that's why we can never get on the same sheet of music as a people. In the word, it says there is only one way. But then you turn around and say, there's a whole bunch of different ways to get us to well, hold on. Either one is right and one is wrong. And that's where we get caught up. That's why I say, even with myself sometimes, you got to humble yourself to use the two, and the one. Look more, listen more, talk less. Because I'll say this again. I have everything I do on social media does not make me money. Okay. I make money by the jobs I do. I do this for fun. You know, this ain't the only thing I do. And I do other things in multimedia. I do commercials. I do voiceovers. I write scripts. I do stuff. AI don't write for me. I write for me. So, you know, I let folks know that. That's why people call me and ask me to write commercials, to write scenarios, because I write, not other situations and circumstances. Because a lot of y'all books, y'all book publishers, because AI is publishing your book. I mean, I'm just going to start calling it what it is. And the problem is y'all are so dependent on being lazy. I'm not lazy, man. I've been in these streets. I've been in these streets. I've been in these organizations. I've been in combat. I've been places. And guess what? I'll be very honest with you. I didn't join the army to go fight nobody's war. I joined the army because it was the easiest way for me to make money and to get my college paid for. That's straight up. I would, if I had known then what I know now, I promise you, I would have been in nobody's military. I'm telling you that.
That's deep.
Though I'm telling you the truth. And I could go back and talk to Joe back then, I would have said, hey, man, this is Joe in the future. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't. Yeah, you get benefits. Yeah, you get a check. But the mental anguish and scars and the things that you've seen and done, you cannot go back and get no forgiveness from that. Hell, you barely every day waking up forgiving your damn self. Yeah. I'll go back and tell young me, you damn sure did go, and you were all you could be. And guess what? You wasn't about nothing. All you were was a puppet to a system that did not care about you, because when you came back, they cut you a check and told you this is your worth. And let me tell you, I don't care if it's a $4,000, $5,000, $6,000, $7,000, $10,000 a check a month. My life was more than that.
Amen. Amen.
That's
And
all I gotta
you know
say.
what, Joe, thank you so much for your service. Brother Eddie, thank you for your service, and everybody in the chat that served, and that's watching us. Thank you so much for your service. We couldn't repay you enough. And the question I want to pose to all of us is, if we were able as a black people right now, today, to get a do-over, what would the do-over look like? What do we need to do from this day forward in terms of our families, in terms of us as a people? How do we need to carry ourselves? What is it that we need to do to become truly free and independent and to live a righteous, a good life? Like, what is it that we need to do? I mean, when I think back to women, back in the, 40s, 50s, 60s, and so on, I think even about how the women carried themselves. If you saw a woman with some dressing, some of the girls dress now with their little booty shorts, I know, they had little poodle skirts on back then, and little dresses, and they were dressed like ladies. They were dressed classy like women. And if anybody saw one of those women dressed a certain way, they'd be like, oh my God, like they would stand out like a sore thumb. Whereas now it becomes the norm, how our sisters dress barely covered, exposing everything to any and everybody. So even starting with that, our men dress like men. They were strong, they dressed like men. What would it look like from the most fundamental level all the way on up? What do we need to do, and what would it look like if you guys could have that society?
And I guess, to piggyback off of what Jack said, Joe said that if he had the opportunity to go to tell his younger self, or to talk to his younger self, I guess my question to us and to the chat is, if you did have the opportunity to go back and talk to your younger self, what would you say that would make you better? What would you say that would make that would change you and make you a better version of yourself right now?
That's deep.
Well, there's this is a loaded question. So I'm gonna go to Jackson a minute. Alethea. So the personal aspect of being better, I would have probably dealt with finance better. I would have dealt with investment better. I would have looked at, in the sense of putting myself in a more situation where I was in control of myself. I don't like, I enjoy working, but I would feel better working for myself. I would rather have created a business that I had a little bit more control for myself. I'm in a good situation now because I'm able to work remotely and I can move around. So I can honestly be in Cancun and do my job. I can do that. So I've been blessed and I'm humble with it. I don't talk about it, I don't brag about it, because every good thing comes to an end eventually. There, what Sister Jack said, the past don't always mean better. The past don't always mean better. Yeah, we can go back in the past and we can talk about how our women had a little bit more respect with the way they dress, how men had more respect the way they dress. But then on the other side, we can find our other faults. We can find our other faults back then. But yes, I think that when it comes down to excellence within us as a people, I think that we should be better at any and everything that we do. And I do understand when but I just don't like to, again, I used to go there, Alethea and Joe, where I used to talk about the women out here and how they would dress and this, that, and the other, and how the fellas would dress with the sagging and the pants sagging and they showing their dirty underwear and stuff like that. And that is not a good representation of a people. And you got to realize that people respect you the way you carry yourself. So I do understand how dress comes into play, but I don't harp on that a lot. I do come there and say that if you want people to respect you, you got to first respect your own damn self.
Yes.
So that I'll give you that, Sister Jax. But remember, in the past, just going back in the past, everything in the past is just not better. So I just wanted to say that so with that, I was just reading this situation with Joe brought up beginning, and I don't mean to switch, but I just looking at the double standard of Jasmine Crockett, because there's a story out here. I didn't know the story. I now know the story is that there's some backlash with Representative Jasmine Crockett, who's a Democrat out of Texas, is under fire for mocking Texas Governor Greg Abbott, who's a Republican. The latest in a string of provocative statements that have boosted her profile over the past year. Since Crockett called Abbott, who is a wheelchair user, Governor Hot Wheels, Representative Randy Weber, Republican out of Texas, has announced plans to censor her, calling the remark the latest in a series of inappropriate comments. So now the problem is that you want to censor her. And the Democrats that fall in line to censor her, I'm calling their ass out. And I got to make another call to Reverend Freddie Haynes, because I've been trying to get Representative Jasmine Crockett on the show. See, y'all Democrats that censored Congressman Al Green, y'all got that. Y'all got away with that. Try to censor our sister this time. Donald Trump has went out there and mocked people and called people low lives and all kind of names. Y'all don't censor him.
Right.
Don't come at our sister, because you come at her, you coming at us.
Hold on, Brother Fatim. We shouldn't have gave him the free pass on Al Green. That was the point. Hold on. Hold it. I understand it looks good to be in defense of a woman. I defend Jasmine to the highest hill. But let me go back to my brother. Wait a minute. We skipped over Al Green like, no, that's the problem right there. Wrong is wrong and right is right. We should have never gave him a pass with Al Green. Hold on. Marjorie Taylor Greene had heckled President Barack Obama and everybody she could heckle in that chamber who was not Republican, and nothing ever happened. Nothing ever happened. Soon as a black man stands up and says, hold on, my brother, you're wrong. That's a lie. He gets removed. That is also a message that is being given subliminally. Understand, we are sitting here and perception is reality.
It's called check a nigga.
Right.
That's what it's called.
Right. Perception is reality. This lady has screamed at Obama, you a liar. That's a lie. Ain't never got escorted out of the chambers of Congress. Al Green stands up and says, sir, that's a lie. That's not right. That's, sir, if you do that again, this uproar, we will remove you. Now, I have to be honest with this. I blame the speaker, Nancy Pelosi, for not realizing the same gavel that the Speaker Johnson had is the same gavel she had. She decided not to use it. And why she decided not to use it, she would have to explain herself, because I'm not going to try to explain it for her. I'm not speaking for her. But understand, you got to use, that's why people like this person that's in office right now, because he's saying, I'm going to do it because I said I was going to do it. And if it's wrong, we'll roll it back. But you can never say I didn't do it. And by me doing it, I can turn around and say, I did exactly what I told you going to do, but the court said I couldn't do it. So-and-so said, I told you what I was going to do. And sometimes, unfortunately, because we do look at it as a black and white, Republican, Democrat, all this stuff, sometimes you got to look at people and say, I respect people who say what they're going to do and do exactly what they're going to do. And that's where somewhere on the other side of politics, they need to start doing that too. When Al Green stood up and they walked him out, every Democrat should have got up and walked out with him, but they didn't. And that was a mistake, period.
But worse than that, because like I said, speaking with Congressman, because if you watched Open Line 2 weeks ago, Open Line Online, I called Congressman Al Green doing the show, and he picked right up. And he explained what and why he did what he did. And I asked him, how did he feel when there was no other Democrat standing with him when he spoke out? And he said he wasn't looking to see what other person was standing with him. Right. He stood, he said, let me finish. He stood alone. And he said, sometimes you have to stand alone than not stand at all. The problem, what I'm saying that got worse, is the 10 Democrats that censored him.
Right.
That's the problem. And that's that mentality that keep calling that post-traumatic slave syndrome, that you gotta seem to go along, to get along. And that's the problem. That's the problem. And that's that mentality.
And once again, Brother Fatim, I say this, and this is my opinion. Folks may disagree in the chat. That shows an ununified front. And once again, where there is no unity, where there is division, a house cannot stand. That's the reason why the Democrats are falling apart. That's why the progressive wing and the Democratic Party is falling apart, because there is no unity. There is division. And instead of, guess what? Everybody in the Republican Party, they are in lockstep. They are in lockstep. I don't care if you're a moderate Republican. I don't care if because there are progressive Republicans and there are conservative Republicans. But everybody in the Republican Party is in lockstep. And see, that's where you've got to pay attention, because they are in lockstep. I don't care if you're an ultra right Republican. If Donald Trump says something that is moderate or centric more toward the center, you don't sit up there and go, Trump don't know what he's talking about. They fall in line and they say, oh, the president said it. Let's go with it. And that's the truth. And that does not happen in the Democratic Party. And that is the truth.
It don't happen in the Black family. And I don't think anybody, when you start to look at other cultures, and I want to hear from our sisters, when you look at other cultures, I'm not going to sit there and say that they don't experience the issues that we do. It's just not magnified. Every Jewish person is not unified. How do I know this? I know the different Jewish communities in Brooklyn. You have one group on Ocean Parkway. You have another group on Eastern Parkway. You got another group in Williamsburg. Now, they will unify amongst certain common goals amongst Jews, but they're not all unified on everything. Correct. They become a united front. And when they do have disagreements, they don't put their disagreements out front in public.
They don't air their dirty laundry.
Closed door. They keep it behind closed doors. But remember, they took control of their narrative. The Holocaust was never held on this soil.
Right.
Slavery was held on this soil, yo.
But we did pay reparations for the Holocaust. Yeah, we did pay reparations.
Yeah.
Okay, but we ain't paid reparations for slavery. Wake up. Wake up.
So we are a splintered group, and I get it and I understand it. But there are times that we unify. There are times when we come together and we do tend to unify. And if we can come together when Dr. King got killed and burned down our communities and burned down this, or when Rodney King verdict came out and the rebellion, because they want me to say, and I'll go with my brothers and sisters that raised up in the LA and call it a rebellion. That same type of energy, the same kind of energy when you came out for George Floyd. That's the same kind of energy that we need to use on days when there is not some extreme thing happening to us. Why do we wait till something extreme happened to us for us to come together? When my daughter called me and started to cry on the phone, Daddy, some of my male friends said they can't vote for Kamala Harris because she's a woman. I said, baby, welcome to the real world, baby. I felt for my daughter, but now it's your turn. It's your turn to fight this fight. It ain't your turn to keep looking at daddy fight this fight. It's your turn. And I've been trying to say and lead by example. I can lead you to the water. I can't make you drink. So now it's your turn. And the problem is that you're so far behind in grade school of dealing with tactics to fight this that you're behind the 8 ball, while those that got their foot on our neck are so farther ahead.
Now, Sister KC just put something in the chat, and I'm going to go to the sisters. And Brother Douglas Guidry responded with fake news. No, Brother Guidry, that's not fake news. Donald Trump and certain wings of the Republican Party feel like the misappropriation of the justice system against those who were convicted for the January 6th riots and the insurrection that has now been turned into a patriotic party of what they call wrongdoing toward the right. He's saying that they should be compensated for false imprisonment and for being railroaded by the justice system that was weaponized for political means. That is in the news. That's not fake news. That is what it is. Now, will that happen? We don't know. Just like, for example, they are advocating for Derek Chauvin to get a presidential pardon. And do not be surprised before these 4 years is over if that does not happen. Period. It might not happen now, but do not be surprised if that does not happen. Ladies, the mic is yours. Whoever wants to talk first.
You're both muted.
Okay, Jax, we can't hear you.
Go. Yeah. Oh, we can't.
Jax,
we can't hear you, Jax.
Yeah, we can't hear you, Jax, for some reason. I don't know why.
All right, well, go ahead, Alethea. Jax, you're gonna
Go
have
ahead,
to fix
Alethea.
your problem. Go ahead, Alethea.
Yesterday, Jax and I were just speaking about the differences between other cultures and us, and how they unify differently than we do, and how they operate differently than we do, how they even build wealth differently than we do. I was telling her about the guy that does my nails. He's Asian, and one day we were just talking, and I asked him how he started out. Like, how did he grow so big? And he said his mom had a little nail shop at first, and she didn't really speak much, English, and so she asked him to come in. Once he built his clientele, they realized that they needed a bigger space. It was him, his mom, a few of his family, and some of the other workers. What they did was they pooled together their money. All of them pooled together their money and opened another building. When that got too big, now this was friends, family, even people that just worked there that they didn't know. But because we are all in the same space, because we want to unify and we want to get better together, they all pulled in again and opened a multi-million-dollar business. If we could do that.
And Alethea, the thing he didn't also tell you is there is legislation out there, because he is not American, and that he gets certain tax cuts and tax breaks.
Yes.
That saddens me that they never gave black and brown folks who were the slaves who built this country those same breaks. I respect that man for doing that, but they showed unity. Like you said, they showed how they had a common goal. They decided who was going to be the leader. They did not falter from who was going to be the leader. They poured their money in, and look what they got now. That's our problem. We want, like I say in the beginning, some folks want to see you do good. They just don't want to see you do better than them. We can't unify to have one, because if one person starts doing great things, big things, then we start hating. And that's our problem. We don't know how to say, I don't mind you winning as long as I'm with you and we win together. You can be in charge.
They don't have that like crab in a bucket mentality like we do. They feel like if one does good, we all do good. Like we are getting better together. Us it's like, well, I want you to get out, but not before I get out. Like I want you to do better, but I just don't want you to do better than me. Let me do better first.
Right. Let me open the door let me be able to brag and say the only reason you in here is I let you in here.
Yes.
See, yes. That's how it is. Some folks, we got people in our communities, they won't even come to a banquet or to a meeting if they're not the head person at the table, and they're not the person speaking, or they're not the person who has the final word. Sister Jax, we can hear you. Speak to us, sis. Speak to us.
Yes, you know what? I've been in and out. I apologize. I might keep dropping. But I wanted to know if you guys got back around to, if we did a reset, what would it look like? What would our households look like? What would our day?
I answered that. You wasn't there, Jax. I answered that.
So you can share with me, Fatine. I'm sorry.
So what I'm saying, the first thing that I said is, the first thing I said, back in the day back in the day don't always mean better. What I did say that we should promote excellence, and that there was some things that we were shining back then when it came down to how we're represented, in the sense of how our presentation, like when you brought up about the dress, how we carried ourselves. Yeah, how we carried ourselves and how we carry ourselves today is how people tend to respect us. If people look at you from the perspective that you don't respect yourself, then they don't have respect for you. But I always say, old don't mean better, or back in the day don't mean better. You learn from the past, but you continue to live and move forward down there. The reset that for me and as our people, I think we went to sleep. I think if the reset was, I think integration was the problem. I think we should have built on our own. When we were segregated, we had more Black businesses. We had this, that, and the other. And I think that when we brought in the concept of integration, it should not have been us giving up our leverage or our power. So if I had that Black cab company, if I had those Black baseball teams, if I was integrating, I'm bringing what I have into that system, so I have a level playing field. What we did, so in my reset, what we did is we gave up power to implement ourselves into this system, and now begging for crumbs. So my reset would be, I would have dealt with integration totally different and not give up our leverage and give up our power of what we had back then. Because when we did that, we gave up, we had no leverage.
Absolutely, absolutely. So what would it look like in terms of educating our children? What would that reset look like? Would it look more like, the mother?
We have more control of our narrative. Yes, we would have more school. We have more control of our narrative. We would run more of our schools. We would be able to educate our folks. We would create businesses that our children could grow into or be employed by. So it changes the whole dynamic of who we are in this playing field here in America. It would make us a stronger and more structured people if that reset was. Well, that's what I'm saying for my reset. Everybody else can bring up their own.
Listen,
now, even with that, go ahead.
So we got 10 minutes.
Say, even with that, would we have? I'm sorry, Joe.
No, keep going, because Joe's gonna say how much time. Go. What you gonna say?
Yeah. So I was gonna say, even with that, when we think about our reset, would we have baby mamas and baby daddies strewn all over the place, or would we say, okay, this concept is not working?
I'm glad you said that, Jack. So it is 10 minutes to the top of the hour. Here's what I want to say. Once again, we can talk until we blue in the face, but you can't change some ways that some folks feel about themselves. See, you got to understand.
We wouldn't have the baby mamas. I'm going to answer the question. We would not have the baby mamas, baby daddies, because we were into that system where the welfare system came into play, and that the woman that needed to get benefits from the system could not have anything coming into the house, especially from a man that was not the husband. So no, the whole psyche, Sister Jax, and the whole setup would be totally different. So you can't pick and choose. If our dynamic would have been different during the integration period, then our whole narrative would have changed, right? And we wouldn't have some of the things that we have. We may have other problems that we don't see today, but some of those problems that exist that you bring up, we wouldn't have had them. Not on that level.
Rhonda made a good point. She was telling a story about how her neighbor was stealing her mail, and she was telling her that this is a crime. But then she said something that was profound that we need to hear. She's been doing it for so long that she thinks that it's normal.
Right.
People have been doing this for so long that they think that this is the norm.
Right.
And we have been a lot. Not Rhonda told her that this is wrong, but sometimes we just sit back and we don't say anything. So we allowed it for so long that they think that it's normal.
And understand this reset that we speak of. Hypothetically, let's just be real. There was a reset. Scriptures speak of the reset. So some of us, and that's if you believe, if you don't believe. What I'm trying to tell people is this. You've got to be better or be bitter. You got to ask yourself today, and Brother Eddie put something in there that I feel like was spot on. What are you going to do today to be a blessing to somebody to make their life better? Period. What are you going to do today to uplift your people today? What are you going to do to make it that somebody who is less fortunate to you see that there is someone who cares, who has more than them. See, we keep on saying it's a battle between the haves and the have-nots. So when are the haves going to say, you know what, me doing this, I really didn't have something a few days ago, but I heard a message and a person asked for something and we gave it because we believed in the message. So, you know, somebody told me, and I'm glad somebody sent this to me while we were on here. We were talking earlier about finances and about the show and about why we do or don't do the show. A person sent me a message that was spot on. They said, Joe, the reason you ain't got it is because you ain't asked for it. Right. He's right. He's absolutely right. But here's what I want to explain to him. I don't want to ask for it because that was never my purpose. At the end of the day, God told me exactly what to do, and I believe and trust in him more than I trust in any system, any money, or any circumstance. If God say, Joe, go out there and fight the battle, I'm with you. Guess what? I'm not going to ask for team's permission. I ain't going to ask Jack's permission. I ain't going to ask Alethea's permission. I will tell them this is what God told me, and y'all might want to disassociate yourself with me right now because I'm going to go and do exactly what he told me to do. And see, we don't have people with that boldness because what folks do is they hear from God, but then they want to get it co-signed by Brother Fatim, Sister Alethea, Sister Jackson, whoever they crew of people is, because guess what? Most folks can't be out there all by themselves. They can't. Sure can. They're all about popularity. They're not about what's proper. They're about popularity, not about what's proper. Guess what? If I lost all my followers, all my friends, all my likes, and all my shares, but I know in my heart of hearts, I was doing what the Most High told me to do, y'all can all go. I appreciate y'all, love you dearly, but I got to go handle what he told me to do. Even if what he told me to do, I got to do it all by myself. Because that's kind of like Noah. That's kind of like Noah. That's kind of like Noah. I'm just saying. So it's 5 minutes, 5 minutes till. I know Jax is on the road. We'll be back tomorrow for Freedom and Fun Friday. Jax, give me some closing words. Give me some closing words.
Yes. Be blessed. Great show from what I can hear, guys. I love you. Nobody told you today they love you. Y'all already know who loves you. Your girl, Jax. I'm flying through Connecticut. Just flew through New York. I'm on the road. I have about maybe almost 200 more miles to go, but I'm going to be there to get my baby and bring it back on home for a little bit. All right. Peace out, y'all. Be blessed. Be safe.
That's what I'm talking about. Sister Alethea, give it to me, sis. I know me and you got the Southern Tea Awards coming up. We got you got your podcast, you got your merch. Tell everybody what you got going on and give us some closing words.
Yes, I do have my podcast in the passenger seat. You can find that on wherever you listen to or watch your podcast. I do have merch. You can go to my website. I am alethea.com or Pimpin Positivity, PIMPIN positivity.net. And I will take the words from Brother Eddie, and we need to go back to our foundation. And that all goes to knowing your worth. Our foundation is excellence. That is our foundation. And that comes from knowing who you are, because when you know who you are, then nobody has to tell you who you are. So continue to go out there and be great in their face. And as always, y'all have a good day on purpose. You're welcome.
Yo, that's
my
what
brother,
I'm talking about. There
Brother
you go.
Fatim, give it up, bang.
I was gonna say something, but I'll contact the person after. Anyway, let's remember this. It's easy to point out problems that plague our community, from poverty, violence, health disparities to educational gaps. But the real power lies not just in calling them out, but in calling us up to become better solution-minded and solution-driven. We can't afford to keep recycling the same conversations without producing real outcomes. I'm going to read that again. We can't afford to keep recycling the same conversations without producing real outcomes. I'm really tired of that. We must think bigger, work smarter, and move in unity, because every challenge we face also presents an opportunity for change, for growth, and for transformation. Let's be the generation. Let's be that generation that not only speaks truth to power, but brings power to the truth. Again, let's be the generation that not only speaks truth to power, but brings power to the truth by doing the work, building the bridges, and uplifting each other. Till next time, until tomorrow, Fun and Freedom Friday. I'm going to kick mine off. I kicked mine off yesterday. I'm going to continue to have some fun. Y'all be blessed. Be safe. All right. Yeah, there you go. I'm going to give you a call, sis.
Yes, Daddy.
There you go,
Look
baby.
at here. Look at here. Well, family,
Yes, that's
let
right.
me get up out of here. I'm out my cast and I'm in my boot going through this rehab. I got to head to rehab in a few minutes. All I can tell y'all is be better today than y'all were yesterday. And do something today to bless somebody in some way, some manner that there's no earthly way they could ever pay you back. And I'm going to do this before I close it out. I got to show Alethea. Alethea got the grandbaby. Look, show him, Alethea. I know you want to show him. Go ahead. Look at there. That's black love, y'all. That's black love. That's black LOVE. That's what I'm talking about.
And Black Love sure got that baby here. That's right.
Let me close it out. All right, family. All right, family. Like I said, always remember that there is no secret what God can do, what he has done for others, he will and he can do for you. For when God is with you, nothing and no one can stand against you. We'll be back tomorrow for Freedom and Fun Friday. For he that the sun set free is free indeed. Have a blessed and wonderful Thursday. I'll holler at y'all tomorrow. Y'all have a good day. As your girl Alethea say, do it on purpose, and we up out of here. Y'all be good. Peace.